but I am interested to see who wins anime of the year. I My last statement on this, and I want to move on to the next topic. I'm not surprised that Attack on Titan didn't make it into this running. Calling out all my nerds, freaks, and geeks. It's mob time.
Don't tune in cause it's showtime. Go ahead and call the gang up for the one time. Rap, Phoop, Ryun, got them on the line. And my life's still great, I'm doing just fine. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I am your host, Phoop, joined by my co-host, Ryun. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get more updates from the mob.
And if you nerds, freaks, and geeks are watching us on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn those bell notifications for future uploads, and share it with a friend.
I was just finna say, where you get freaks from? And then I forgot that's in the intro.
Oh, intro. I see someone to be paying attention when video editing.
Yo, but you know how when you listen to something for so long, it's like clockwork. Like when I listen to the intro, when I'm editing the episode and I listen to the intro, I'm just listening to the intro to make sure that the transition from the intro to me talking is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. After a while, I stopped listening to the words. So you said freaks and geeks, and I was like, whoa. And then I was like, oh yeah, that is in the intro.
You gotta remember how much effort we put into these intros. We was talking about that for what, a whole night?
We did. Day? But the thing is though, that was like almost a year ago. So now it's kind of like clockwork. You know, put the intro here, put the thing here. And, you keep it pushing. Like after a while, you just stop noticing, and it just becomes part of the process.
Man, them intros are legendary. These new ones, it's mob time. I like them. I like them.
What Ron say? Leave your feelings at the door.
At the door, because it's mob time.
But man, we are back with episode 41 of the Blerd Mob podcast. We are in 2024, and it's cold.
It is.
That's all I gotta say.
Very.
It's cold.
To my fellow Texas residents, if y'all made it through the freeze, this episode came out after the freeze. I hope y'all are staying warm. If you're in them cheap apartments where they leaking like mine, make sure to sue if you got the opportunity to do so.
Not make sure you sue. Well, if you anywhere where it's cold, you got snow outside, bundle up, stay warm, order you a pizza, and just, or if you gotta go outside, do what you gotta do.
She said, don't you drive through the ice, make the pizza man drive through the ice.
If they delivering, they delivering.
You right.
If they delivering, they delivering. I understand how contradictory my statement is. Like, you don't drive, but let the pizza man drive. But I'm gonna say this though. Up here, it snowed one night, and we ordered Papa John's. When I tell you that man pulled up in that pickup truck with the big wheels to deliver that pizza, I said at least they prepared with the off-road tires. I was like, at least they prepared.
Yeah.
Now, if he had pulled up in a little Toyota, like sliding down the street, trying to deliver my pizza, I would have felt bad. But then he pulled up in the truck.
See, for Texans, it depends. Some of them got them nice off-road all-season tires, but then the rest of them got nice rims and everything, and they just want their truck to be lifted, and they over here slipping and sliding down the interstate.
Yeah. I got all-weather tires on my car. But it makes you... I was thinking about this a lot, like, with driving through the snow and stuff. It just makes you think of, like, how cities, like, certain infrastructure is made to withstand certain pieces of weather. And it even goes into way how they like manufacture cars, because like if you were to buy a car in Mississippi, they're not gonna give you no tires to drive through the snow, because like, we stay in Mississippi, like when are you gonna drive through the snow? But if I was to buy the same car where I stay at in Nebraska, they might be like, yeah, we got you some all weather tires and this, that, and the third, because we know how the roads be out here while you driving.
It also makes you want to check the Carfax, because cars that come from like colder climates, like where you at or Chicago, they got a lot of salt on the roads and everything else, so the bottoms of y'all cars might deteriorate a little quicker than say a car that was mostly predominantly in like Alabama or Georgia.
Yeah. So it was just stuff that I was noticing that was, and I was like, because I don't know, like they shutting stuff. You know how they used to shut stuff down in Jackson when the roads was icy, and I was just
Yeah.
thinking about that driving through roads covered in snow, slipping and sliding. And I was like, had this happened in Jackson, we would be on a state of emergency asking Joe Biden for money.
Oh, that's how we was. Texas was an emergency. We said, there's ice. A lot of companies on the second day was like, all right, we're just going to open later to get rid of the snow. Hopefully the sun melts it. But nah, we don't survive through that. Mm-mm.
That jump be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But what was I about to say? Um, it's 2024. I had one New Year's resolution for 2024. I know a lot of people about this time, they be like, nah, we not doing that. Or some people just do them for fun, or some people do them and then they forget about them. But I'm going to stick with this one. My New Year's resolution for 2024 was to read more books.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it.
Nice, nice.
I just finished my third book of the year.
Okay. And which one was that? Was it the Hunger Games book when you was reading it, or another one?
I read the Hunger Games, and I read both of the Kyoshi books. Now, this is not the episode for it, but if you have not read them Kyoshi novels, you need to.
Yeah.
You need to. It's like if they were to animate this stuff, this would be darker than some of the themes in Legend of Korra.
Remind me, didn't they say they had a Kyoshi movie, but then they canceled it or something?
I think they canceled it, and now I'm pissed. Like at first, I wasn't that mad because I hadn't like seen a lot of like Kyoshi content on my end. I was not consuming a lot of Kyoshi content at the time when they said they weren't doing the move. But now that I read these two novels, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I'm pissed. I'm upset because we need that and I'm sorry to everybody who's I'm looking forward to it. F them Avatar and France movies and put Kyoshi back in. I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead. Make a fourth movie. If y'all want Aang and them so bad, make a fourth movie.
I'm not mad at seeing more so mature Aang and all of them, because I did want to see how they grew up just a little bit. But I'm also like, Kyoshi's a whole Avatar we never saw for real. Like, I would have loved to build a new relationship with a new character and see how that go.
And like the juxtaposition of how they described her in like Avatar: The Last Airbender versus how she was like in these books, they talk about her early life. Like she's 16, 17 in these books. Kyoshi lived to be like 230.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time we get to Avatar: The Last Airbender, like her reputation is somewhat coming from the point that's like maybe when she's like 100 and something years old.
Right.
And I was like, and I'm thinking like if we could have got a movie of like when she first started out, like doing her thing, being a fully realized Avatar, like at 16, 17 years old, I was like, that would bang.
It would. I definitely would have tuned in.
It and like the themes and like just going through like the phases of evolution when it comes to the Avatar universe, like it's very. I feel like part of the reason why it's dark is because like some of it, we don't have all these advancements.
Yeah.
So some of these themes inside of Kyoshi is like very traditional, like very base Earth Kingdom, Fire Nation, Water Nation, Air Nomad, baseline tradition. But as we get to like Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra, like the lines kind of blur a little bit. Traditions are forgotten or like
Fire Nation was
rewritten.
industrializing and everything.
So then it's so I don't know. Read the goddamn books, and I'm gonna get a petition started so we can get these movies. I'm gonna get a petition started to get the movie on the board because at first I didn't understand the loss that we had received, the Avatar community had received by not getting a Kyoshi movie, but now I feel it, and I'm pissed.
I feel it. I didn't have a New Year's resolution. I think I started the year. I think I was influenced by you. I was like, I focused too heavily on my manga and Funkos, and I realized I was getting behind on collecting the Pokeballs. I'm catching up. The only ones I'm missing is the Friend and Love Ball, so I'm waiting for the announcements for the next set of 4 for this year, and I'm catching up.
I just need the netball, but I'm gonna get somebody else to buy that for me. I'm just don't want to spend my money on that one. Now, when you sent me the picture, it does look nice. It looks better than I thought it was.
I fuck with it. Oh, I shouldn't be saying that. I like it.
Not you shouldn't be saying that. If y'all didn't know, Ryan don't like to cuss on the internet.
I try to avoid it. But the luxury ball sexy.
He's a good Christian man, and he doesn't like to cuss. He doesn't like to cuss on the internet.
Changing the stereotypes, defeating the monoliths. Christians ain't bad guys. Not all of them, at least.
But he did just say a slew of cuss words before we got into this recording. So, please take this comment with a grain of salt.
Hey, these Pokeballs is something worth getting excited about. That luxury ball, lovely. It's a fingerprint magnet.
That luxury ball is nice. I'm excited to see which 4 they're going to be releasing this year.
I'm hoping for the timer ball just because it looks nice. Fire. I think you remember the heavy ball and the monster ball?
I've seen the monster ball. I don't remember the heavy ball.
The heavy ball is the one that was gray at the top with like 2 or 3 blue blobs like on the sides. They got like some 3D stuff going on.
Okay.
I would like to see those 3 and the nest ball only because I think that green and brown fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that dust ball, the way they did, the ones that have like the color scheme that like encapsulates the whole ball are my favorite. Like I like the ones where it's like a different color at the top and then the white, the traditional white at the bottom. But like the ones like the quick ball, the luxury ball, the dive ball, like the heel ball, the ones that like the design covers the whole thing. Those are my favorite.
I like the ones with the 3D portions. Like the great ball is still one of my ones that's up there because I thought they was going to make the red part flat. Like they really made it true to life by giving it that bulkiness. Yeah. And then the cherish ball's unique shape. I like those.
With the bent in corners.
Yeah. That's why I would really love like the timer ball because it got like those red arrows on the side similar to the great ball. Yeah. I would like that.
Yeah. They gonna get their money.
They gonna get their money.
There's somebody rent up here.
Honestly, I got 11 of them. So
that's somebody rent.
Somebody
rent. Just casually sitting on Ryan's shelf. Somebody rent.
My manga and Funkos alone is like a few months of rent for some people.
Just think about like as the years go by, like how much all this stuff will be worth. Like if we were like we auction off our collection, like think of like how much money people would pay to get our collection.
I know with Funkos alone, my collection exceeds 2,000 because I got a whole lot of grails. Mm-hmm. The manga alone, by MSRP, is like, I think I did the math, it's like 8,000. But crazy. I spent like less than half because I do a lot of sales and RIP right stuff.
Yeah. But don't think we just out here spending like $2,000 and $8,000. Bills get paid, and this has been a collection growing for like years. Like some of this stuff I had in college, so don't get it twisted.
Facts.
Don't get it twisted.
I put money in my retirement accounts, life insurance, emergency savings. Look, financial literacy.
We are responsible adults. We just like to buy stuff.
Look, I saw a video on Twitter where a dude was like, why is it that Gen Z look older than they are and millennials look younger? I'm like, millennials, we're living in our childhood. So
I tell myself all the time, like I've been healing my inner child since I got my job.
Look, it was with you. Just a couple years ago, I went to Disney World for the first time. I didn't get to go as a kid.
Yeah. So it's just, it's the freedom of living your life. And, knowing that you can do the things that you didn't get to do. And it's fun. It's fun.
A lot of Gen Zs be like 20 years old worrying about the housing crisis. Millennials are like, I need to go to Disney World for the second time because I always wanted to go as a kid. I know I'm not getting a house.
Basically. You know, it's to me, if I get a house, I give me a house. But like, I'm trying to go to Epic Universe in 2025, so we gotta make
we
plans to get in
we
there.
do need to start getting those plans established. It's 2024 now.
Hey, I just
Probably after your birthday.
I'm gonna have to see. As y'all know, if y'all been following the podcast, I have been following the development of Epic Universe, which is the new
Mm-hmm.
theme park that Universal Studios is building in Orlando. And the last video update I saw, everything is coming together pretty well. Like everything is set on track to open 2025. But I just need to see. You know how they have those launch trailers and
Yeah,
they do like their little promo video. I just need to see the promo video. Like I don't want to start planning ahead. I know some people planning ahead, but I don't want to plan ahead until I see something official. So until Universal give me something
fair.
official, I got
And
like the crazy thing about it though. So they built 2 new hotels too, and they've already opened the hotels for people to start booking reservations. The hotel's not
that's
even done. The
crazy.
hotel's not even done.
That's
They're not
I mean,
done.
I get it though, but that's
I,
crazy.
I get it. But like they open for reservations, the park not done, the hotel's not done. They got a whole contract with the county to build a new road that people can either drive themselves down to Epic Universe, or if you wanted to take a shuttle from Universal
Mm-hmm.
Studios Islands of Adventure to Epic Universe, they got a road specifically for the shuttles. And that's not done.
But that's gonna be so lit when it is
It
done. Like, bro, because it should be done by June 2025.
They said summer 2025. So summer is a very loose term because I think in our heads, when we hear summer, we're so indoctrinated from like grade school and stuff that summer means like May.
It's
But
really like
like,
June through
but it's
August.
like, right. So it could be like June, July, August. Summer's 2025 could mean that.
The best time for us to go, in my opinion, because we got to skip past hurricane season, even though that side of Florida don't really get hit. I think for us, like mid to late September, early October, the weather start cooling down a little bit. If
We'll
it's
have to
done in like
see.
August,
We'll have to see. Because I'm trying to get in there.
yeah.
Look it
I
up.
don't want to
If
be
you
there
ain't
first
been
month though. I don't want to be there month one. There's gonna be
No,
too
that's what
many
I'm
people there.
saying. So if they open it, my thing is if they open it in August, it's gonna be a minute. Like even September might be crazy. Like September,
Yeah,
October might be crazy.
yeah. And we still gonna try to do Disney World all over again. We ain't just gonna be like, oh, we only doing
Yo,
Universal.
I don't. It really depends. They are saying the theme park conspiracists are saying that this might be the move that puts Universal a one up on Disney World.
Mm.
But if you could see the park and the intricacies that they are putting into this,
Yeah.
like if everything goes right with this theme park, I could see it.
I can see it. They doing modern brands too, like bringing Super Mario in and everything else like that. They doing the modern
Like
stuff.
like this, they're gonna have the biggest Super Nintendo world out of Japan, and well, Japan is now getting the Donkey Kong expansion, so
Mm-hmm.
it might be a bit bigger. And then I saw a rumor that they said they might be sticking a Luigi's Mansion portion in there.
Hey, they're gonna have King Boo and all them up in there too.
Yeah, like they were gonna build the mansion. Like the mansion was gonna be like a ride, and they were gonna make it seem like it's like the creepy forest, like the beginning of the game, and like
Hey, that's gonna go hard.
that's what I'm
That's gonna go
saying.
hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that Universal has this contract with Nintendo for all of these properties, they could do a lot of stuff with it.
And were you the one that told me they might do something with Pokemon?
Yeah. So the rumor is that they're about to shut down the Simpsons area of Universal Studios, and the rumor is they're gonna replace it with Pokemon.
Bro, bro, bro. If they do that right, if they do that
Yeah.
right, come on now.
Now I did hear the other rumor is that they're shutting down the Spider-Man ride in Japan, and they're going to put a Pokemon ride in the place of that, and which is kind of the same route that they went with Super Nintendo World. Super Nintendo World debuted in Japan first, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming that if this Pokemon ride gets good reception, then that would definitely green light for it to bring it over here and dedicating a whole area to it.
Yeah, they honestly Pokemon, depending on how they do it, you already know they gotta do the Pokemon Center.
Yeah,
You know how
Pokemon, Pokemon Center. Um,
every
I have.
Pokemon game be having that one like 7 foot floors mall building thing up inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? You got to throw that up in there. If you bring back the stuff from Gen 3 or Gen 2, when you could like dig underground and stuff. No, that was Gen 4 of like Diamond and Pearl. If you
Mm-hmm.
could go underground, they got a section for cave digging and everything. Come on now.
My thought was because that Simpsons area is also over there where the Fear Factor, not Dome, but where they were doing the Fear Factor shows. And
Yeah.
I feel like that arena is still back there, like covered up with some trees and stuff. Like I think it's still back there. If they were to tear that down and then make it more like that Pokemon Safari area,
The Pokemon Safari would be nice too.
that'd
That
be
would be
dope.
nice too. Hey,
And then
bro.
they put in like the interactive things like in the Harry Potter part, like when you buy your wand and you can walk around and do stuff. Like if they had something like my idea was like maybe a Pokédex. You buy a Pokédex like you would buy a wand and you can go around and interact with stuff.
Look, what about even this? They do like a fake aquarium s thing with all the water Pokemon swimming by. Because you got to realize surfing and using dive in Pokemon has always been a big thing too. Like they could just do a
Hmm.
whole bunch of different biomes
Yeah.
and replicate it.
I I would be interested to see what they do.
Bro, Pokemon go hard.
It
You
would.
don't even-
It would.
mm,
I'm interested. I'm not too concerned just because of what they've done with Super Nintendo World.
yeah.
I'm not concerned. The Donkey Kong area that they're about to put in there looks just from the promo video looks like it's gonna be legit. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
worried about it. And then we always say like Nintendo takes care of their stuff. They
They do.
they they take care of their IPs. So I'm not expecting to see a half-ass product come out of a Pokemon area in Universal Studios.
The only thing I worry about is my bank accounts. And them little kids gonna be looking at this grown 6 foot bearded man over here crying and screaming just to be in the Pokemon world. They just gonna have to suck it up. Like I don't care about you, kid.
Ryan
You grew
gonna
up
be
on Gen 5 and up. I was there for Gen 1.
Ryan
Gen
gonna
1.
Ryan gonna be worse than the Disney adults. They put a Pokemon area up in there.
Bro, I'm walking out there with my Like, no, they ain't finna
I'm
tear
not
my
bringing them.
Pokeballs. I'm not bringing my nice ones.
No,
I'm gonna
I
get some
will
fake
buy.
ones from Amazon.
You know what I'm buying whatever they got in the store, whatever they got in the
Look,
Pokemart.
hey, that's gonna be lit. Let's get started.
It is. I'm excited though. I'm excited. But getting into the topics that we have for today. So we've been gone for a minute, so we got to catch up on a few things. So we're going to start in the entertainment directory. The first thing that I want to talk about is the recent announcement of the Anime Awards 2024 from Crunchyroll, as well as the nominees for Anime of the Year. And let me pull this up. Scrolly. So nominees for Anime of the Year are Boki the Rock, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Swordsmith's Village Art, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Oshi no Ko, and Vinland Saga Season 2. Now, I'm not mad at this list, but I did want to see Hell's Paradise in here.
Hell's Paradise could have replaced Demon Slayer. And I am a Demon Slayer fan. Hell's Paradise definitely should have replaced Demon Slayer. Because this is an easy win for JJK, in my opinion. Easy win.
Same.
It's a blowout.
I just don't feel like season 3 of Demon Slayer really left an impression on me to be like, oh, this is Anime of the Year. Now, had this been 2023 with the Entertainment District arc, I would have been like, you know what? That's a different
Fair enough.
story. But
Yeah.
I just don't think season 3 had enough of impression on me for it to be nominated as anime of the year.
I was surprised by a few things because even though, like, I was talking to my boy Maidenless Manga online, and he was like, that first impression from Mushoku Tensei is why a lot of people deter from it. I'm surprised that ain't on there. I hear the reason that Freerun wasn't up here is because it came out a little too late in the year.
Mm-hmm.
But like, Demon Slayer did not earn that spot this year. I'm so sorry, and I am a
And
fan of Demon
I
Slayer.
would
It
have
didn't earn that spot.
and I would have to agree. I think the later seasons, depending on how they do it, could put them in there to be anime of
Mm-hmm.
the year just because of the stuff that you've been hearing us talking about and the fact that we read the manga. But I don't believe that season 3 left enough of an impression on me to be an anime of the year. Now, I just got into Vinland Saga. I am enjoying it. So for it,
What? How far you into it?
I'm not that far, but like the episodes that I have seen, I've been enjoying it. And
Good.
just based off your review, Ralph's review, and other people I've seen talking about it online, it seems like it's like masterpiece.
Now, I'm not surprised season 2 made it up on there. But the thing is, season 2 is probably not going to appeal to 25% of the folks who like season 1, who watch season 1 only for violence and gore. Because
Mm.
season 2 is really, really story heavy, really character development heavy. It was good, but the wee bits of action tossed up in there, it didn't amount to season 1's gore and violence. So I was surprised that it made it up there. I was like, okay, I trust the judges, but we all know it ain't winning.
Yeah, the other two, Oshinoko and Boki the Rock, I can't speak for. Did you watch those?
No, Oshinoko. I've seen people talk about it on social media, but it didn't seem like my vibe of anime.
I feel you. Chainsaw Man, I'm gonna give Chainsaw Man that. I think Chainsaw Man, with the level of themes, the animation, the storytelling, like Denji as a character being that unorthodox MC, really like shook the
Yeah,
table.
but I want to ask you something. Maybe it was just my timeline, but did you see how after Chainsaw Man came out, all of the hype, all of the excitement, it lasted throughout the season. But then there was like a small pocket of people who were like, oh my gosh, this did not maintain the theme of the manga, and I don't even see how y'all could like it. I'm like, what are y'all talking
I
about?
feel like maybe that might have been an engagement post because it happens with every piece of media. You know, when something comes
Yeah,
out and everybody's hype, and then it's like a month later or a couple weeks later, and it's always that one person that's like, okay, y'all, it's time to admit that this wasn't really that good. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Chainsaw Man was a major success.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad at folks for disliking it, but when you say like the theme wasn't maintained, Chainsaw Man had one of the more unique themes in the past few years when it come to anime and manga in terms of how they like carried out the characters. It was really solemn, but then like it wasn't, oh, the hero's going to be saved or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's like this is just real life. Someone's going
And
to die, someone's going to lose, someone's going to be sad, someone's going to be depressed. It was dark.
for real. And shout out to Denji. He's in the nominees for best main character for this anime awards as well. So, but to go back to Hell's Paradise, it didn't get into the nominees of anime of the year, but it is in the running for best new series, best character design, and best art direction. It's also in the running for best anime song and best opening sequence alongside Chainsaw Man. Now those I
I
ain't
could
mad at.
For anime song, they're saying just for the intro.
Yeah.
It might have to compete against Attack on Titan on that one, but I would pick Hell's Paradise.
I don't think Attack on Titan was in there.
It wasn't? Oh,
Well,
okay.
if you're talking about the rumbling,
That
then
wasn't in the last season.
that was 2023, so that doesn't, I
Oh,
don't think that counts.
that might be a blowout for Hell's Paradise.
Best anime song. So I think the difference between opening sequence and anime song, I think opening sequence is just like, you know, the music combined with the visuals, and then the
Yeah,
song is just a song by itself. So best song is Oshi no Ko, Kickback from Chainsaw Man, the intro, the song that's for Boki the Rock, Suzume, first intro for JJK season 2, the one that they had on hidden inventory arc, and
Yeah.
then work from Hell's Paradise. Now, Attack on Titan, the first special, the final chapter special 1, is in the running for best score. Now, I'll give Attack on Titan that.
I'll give Attack on Titan that.
But
that's interesting.
But then let's also talk about this. Mappa is dominating. If you scroll down that list of categories, Mappa has at least 2 animes in every category.
Oh yeah. They destroyed.
They dominated this year.
Them artists, bro, they deserve raises. They deserve trips to Americans want to go to Japan. They deserve a trip to America. They deserve a trip to Italy. They deserve something. They are killing the game right now. Like folks can talk all that smack about y'all just riding Mappas, whatever, and hyping them up. Mappa has been in multiple animes that have different themes, different art directions,
styles, because
different settings, and maintained it.
Talk to him. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
you good.
Let's just talk about the fact that between all of the animes that Mappa has animated 2023, none of those art styles are similar.
Nope.
None.
JJK look completely different from Attack on Titan.
Which looks completely different from Chainsaw Man, which looks completely different from Hell's Paradise, looks completely different from Vinland Saga Season 2.
Yeah. And some people, the only one that I've really seen some people complain about is the animation for Hell's Paradise. And here's the thing. I actually enjoyed it. Now, I ain't read the manga. I enjoyed the animation from Hell's Paradise.
I liked it. It felt rough, but it felt rough in a sense that with rough storytelling, the rough animation matched the rough storytelling of it.
Yeah. Because quality of animation is like, yeah, it's about the frames, but it's also about, does this art elicit the emotion that you want it to? Like when it's all gritty and dark, does it make the viewer feel like they're in a dark, gritty universe? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like even in the way when Attack on Titan, you know how when they have their eyes and they got the lines to show like that despair or anger, like it gets the thought across. That's quality animation at the end of the day. Because we don't even got to worry about frames and stuff anymore. Mappa got millions of dollars to do that. They got millions of dollars for color, saturation, all that. We ain't got to worry about that. But does it efficiently like make the viewer see what they want, what the artists want them to see, and view it in the way that they want them to view? It's quality animation.
Yeah, I've enjoyed all of the works. As I will always say, I want them to have better working conditions and not work on 6 animes a year. But
we are walking contradictions though. For why we keep watching it. Oh my gosh, stop making their work so hard, but we're gonna watch everything that come out.
I just feel like somebody should be appreciating it.
Because if those out here, they would get a promotion.
Yeah, and the proof is in the anime awards of how hard they worked.
Killing the game, bro. Killing the game.
But I am interested to see who wins anime of the year. My last statement on this, and I want to move on to the next topic. I'm not surprised that Attack on Titan didn't make it into this running either. I think they stretched that out way too long for it to be in there.
Yeah, because it kind of goes to that argument, like when you and me and I think Ralph and Antoine did our reviews for Attack on Titan. I had to ask y'all, when y'all did pacing, were y'all talking about how the story progressed per episode, or like how the episodes themselves are released? And y'all was like, we're going off how the episodes were released. And I'm like, okay, that was badly paced. But like, because I had just rewatched it and I saw how the story progressed, I was like, no, this is excellent pacing from that perspective.
Yes. So I feel like, but with the whole idea of like now, because now everybody who like skipped out on Attack on Titan has the opportunity to binge it. So now they can receive this information and can see the progressions through the story more fluid than we did.
Yeah.
Because, like, why are we getting Special 1 in March and we had to wait all the way to November to get to the end? And I feel like that kind of takes away from the Aster of following the journey to the end of Attack on Titan.
Aster. Okay. I forgot you in grad school. Okay.
Ryan be trying to play me.
I ain't trying to play you.
No,
No.
this is the second. But yo, this is the second time you just said something. Because when I said confuddle on the JJK review, you was like, okay, scholar.
Oh no, but confuddled. I've seen that word. I don't see people talk about Aster commonly in my vocabulary. Like, I gotta look up the definition. Definition is
the definition.
Definition.
He said the definition. But
in fact, how you spell Aster?
Anus Aster.
Okay, now that's a plant of the daisy family.
Then maybe that's not how you spell it. We'll look it up. We'll look it up after.
Someone put it in the comments.
We'll look it up later. But moving on to the next thing is that I think everybody saw this coming, but it came out that Illumination has reportedly pitched a cinematic universe to Nintendo that we would evolve into Super Smash Brothers. Now, the IPs that they mentioned in this article was Kirby, Metroid. I don't remember seeing F-Zero for Captain Falcon, but definitely.
What about Star Fox?
I think I saw Star Fox in here. Let me see it again.
Metroid gotta be there too.
So they mentioned Link, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Samus, Captain Falcon. So they did mention F-Zero, Fox in this. Now, they were going off of the limited roster from the 1999 Smash Brothers.
Oh, N64s, yeah.
Right. So they were going off the limited, which I think would be fine. Because once we get to Brawl and once we get to Ultimate, even if you want to talk about Melee, like the roster went huge, but it was also just them pulling more characters out of those specific IPs as well.
Yeah.
So what I want to talk about with this topic is that, do we need a Super Smash Brothers universe? And is this something that we actually want to see? And it could be from a viewer perspective, and it could also be, is this something that we want to see from Illumination, giving the tone and how they executed the Super Smash Bros. Not Super Smash Bros, but the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
I will say, I enjoyed Super Mario from a nostalgic perspective, but it wasn't for adults. But that's not a big deal at the same time, because I'm not watching that to get the same entertainment that I watch John Wick or something like for. But it depends. It depends on how they do the movies that connect to it. Because a Star Fox movie, I would watch that. That's basically just Nintendo Star Wars / Star Trek. I would watch that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Metroid, that's basically like what, Predator versus Alien type stuff, or you know what I'm saying? Like go to space, fight aliens. I might watch it. Ness, I'm not sure. Link, if they do a Link movie, I'll check it out.
Well, they already said they announced that they're doing a live action Legend of Zelda movie. Then that's not going to be connected. So they would have to do something animated.
So yeah, because those individual movies, like because whenever I hear build a universe, I think Marvel. If they do like MCU and they do the individual movies, a lot of them I would watch. Now, Smash Brothers movie, I'd question how they do the story, because you know, like Mr. Hand is just a kid. Like these are technically just statuettes and dolls that a kid is like putting in their imagination. I remember.
Well, my counter argument to that, and I know you didn't watch this movie, but that was the big bad of the Lego movie. So the Lego movie was taking place with them being Legos, and the villain, which was basically Crazy Glue, the guy who owned the Legos, he was basically collecting Legos, and he would super glue the Legos so they could stay still. But in the Lego universe, you know, we're not supposed to stay still. We're supposed to have the freedom to build and rebuild as we please. But then it turns out that the villain is just this man, and for Super Smash Bros, equivalent to the kid just playing with Legos and super gluing the Legos. So I don't think that's a hard concept to pull off.
Yeah. Okay. When you put it that way, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If the individual movies that lead up to it are average to good, let alone great, I'm gonna watch it. I'll go and see it.
I I don't think we need it because I'm kind of getting to the opinion that everything doesn't need a universe. However, universes are selling. Like everything that
Mm-hmm.
comes out, we have some need for it to be connected to something, or we like the fact that this can grow, this can be interconnected, this can grow into a million different things. What if this happened? But like, so I see the need, I see the desire, but I don't
Yeah.
know if we really need it. Now, can they do it? They definitely can do it. I think Super Smash Bros. Brawl definitely set the foundation of that they can make a Super Smash Bros. Movie.
Yeah. And yeah, even looking at Brawl and their story, I love the story inside of in Brawl's campaign. So if the story follows something of that nature, like
But
good versus evil and all that good stuff, I could see it being interesting.
I can see it being interesting. The hesitation I have with
Mm-hmm.
just coming out with a sound, yes, let's do this, is the point that you brought up is that the Illumination Super Mario Bros. Movie was targeted for kids.
True.
And Super Smash Brothers doesn't have a super mature tone, but Brawl, the story for Brawl was kind of dark. And if we want to
Mm.
continue, you know, growing out this universe, I feel like we might have to, get a bit more mature. Not like, PG
PG.
13
PG.
animated
Yeah.
movies, but like we just can't be. I would not prefer the universe to grow out to be kitty and silly, and this is supposed to lead up to Super Smash Bros.
I mean, I would appreciate some. Yeah, I would appreciate some level of maturity and PG-13 is not taking it away from the kids, but you know what I mean? Like, because another thing that we also have to acknowledge, if y'all are focusing on N64, probably leaning in toward Melee, even just some of these franchises in general, like Link and everything else, I wonder if Illumination and Nintendo recognizes that majority of the fans for these IPs are now
I just want to see how they're gonna do
40-year-olds.
Metroid. Like how, like who's the audience if they were to put Samus in this universe and make a Metroid movie? Who's the target audience for
Yeah.
Metroid? Like I could,
Metroid could easily become a horror thriller if they wanted to.
hello, and I could already see them dumbing down Star Fox, animals and spaceships. I could. That's easy. That's easy money if they wanted to dumb that down. It doesn't have to
Star,
be dumbed down.
Star Fox is already a little goofy, but it has moments and it could definitely get further into darkness easily.
Hmm.
Easily. It
I'm just curious to see now the assumption. The franchises that we are talking about is coming from this article that's coming from the N64. I don't really know who they're gonna put in this movie, who they're gonna build out in this universe.
mm, yeah, because I guess the reason I'm still like I'm gonna watch it is because anime to live action. I'm still very pessimistic because we've only had one success story, but video game to animated movie, that realm of entertainment is starting to prove very successful. Like we got Sonic, we just had the Super Mario movie, we had that Detective Pikachu movie. Weren't there a few others?
Successfully, I think is I remember we looked up that list, and a lot of
Yeah.
it was Pokemon movies, the Super Smash Bros. Movies. Sonic was in there, and I want to say it was one other game franchise that was in that list.
See, and that's the thing. And the fact that Nintendo was involved with Mario, so they were able to like it was a love letter to the Mario Kart fans, at least, and the Mario fans in general. That's how I felt about it. It makes me a little bit more optimistic. A little bit more optimistic.
Yeah.
It's just that you got to watch it for what it is. I don't think we should expect to go in watching these movies expecting the depth and gore and lore
I
of
wasn't
say
I wasn't thinking gore. I'm just thinking like Super Smash Brothers. It's beat 'em up content. So it's
it
like
is.
And if we want to look at the Super Smash Bros. Movie, like that fight between Mario and Bowser was like, okay, we got a superstar and we punched him in the space. Like that's
Yeah.
beat the bad guy 101. Get the power up and punch him in the space. How is a
Yeah.
Super Smash Brothers movie if we just want to keep the comparison to Brawl? Like that whole story mode, people was throwing bows the whole time. Meet up, oh we don't like you, throw bows. Meet up, we see these guys throw bows. Like it was throw bows the whole franchise.
I want to see how they're going to handle, like, are they going to let characters die? Or, like, how are they going to handle the moment where you fall off the field and it's like, boom, and a blast of
They
energy?
might do that statue thing again, like they did in Brawl. You remember when people got defeated and they just turned into like the trophy?
Oh, yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
them just continuing that up. So it's not like they're not gone, like they're not off, but you're
Mm-hmm.
in suspended animation.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah.
But like I just don't like are we calling or my question would be, and we would have to wait to see how this develops, right?
Right.
Is Super Smash Bros. Universe just a blanket term to just say that we are going to incorporate a bunch of Nintendo's franchises and have a meetup movie? Or are we thinking Super Smash Bros. Is exactly how we're thinking Super Smash Bros. With people fighting the whole time? Or is it just a blanket term that we are going to build a universe where all of these IPs are connected and they could travel to each other's worlds if they wanted to, or meet
Oh,
up and do stuff if they wanted to?
okay, I see what you're saying. Because it don't necessarily mean that all these folks are going to a battlefield with Mr. Hand and fighting.
Right.
It could be that, oh, Mario just somehow winds up and he meets Kirby in Kirby's universe. And
Exactly.
somehow Star Fox and Captain Falcon just meet up in space fighting somewhere.
Exactly.
It
Now,
could be, okay.
and it could just be a blanket term because Super Smash Brothers is the franchise where we see multiple Nintendo IPs in one
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Yeah. You just, And
We gonna
even,
wait.
honestly, I would have more hope for that. I would be more
I
optimistic
would
towards
have.
that than them
I would
trying to
be.
recreate the fighting.
Yeah. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how this develops. But I thought it was pretty interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to our next topic. So we're going into. So Best Buy has begun removing all physical media and displays out of the store. So a few facts on this before we get into the discussion. So Best Buy will phase out sales of DVDs and Blu-rays discs in both store and online in early 2024. The company will continue to sell video games. Um, I got this article from Variety. A Best Buy spokesperson said, to state the obvious, the way we watch movies and TV shows is much different today than it was decades ago. Making this
Yeah.
change gives us more space and opportunity to bring customers new and innovative tech for them to explore, discover, and enjoy. So, the hot takes I have to this is with everything moving to digital, we got Best Buy removing physical media out the stores. We had the issue with Sony December 2023 where people had bought stuff on the Discovery platform, and due to licensing issues, Sony had put out a message that they were going to have to remove it even though they purchased it. And just getting a little bit into the Ubisoft executive that said that gamers need to get comfortable with not owning their games for game subscriptions to take off. Is digital media anti-consumer?
Yes. Simple answer, yes. And the only reason why it is anti-consumer is because corporations can take it back. I'm not
Yep.
just going to be on no extreme political anti-corporation, big company, all that good stuff. That's not what this channel was for. But I don't like that we can't own anything anymore. You know what
And
I mean? Like
and
this,
that was my sentiment.
like the stuff behind me, I paid for this. Fairy Tale, Hiromashima could get in legal troubles. Fairy Tale could get sued by freaking Comcast. They name any random company, and now they're like, we got to retrieve all of the stock that's currently in stores, but you can't take my manga. You
Mm-hmm.
can't take my Funko Pops. I bought it. I have it. I own it. It's mine. You know
But
what I'm saying?
I agree. And I think I agree because of the fact that, and I was seeing this I was coincidentally enough, I was talking to one of my coworkers who has a Max subscription and was using his
Mm-hmm.
Max subscription to catch up with the new 52 DC movies. And he was like, he got to a point where some of the movies weren't on Max and they were on Netflix.
Mm.
So and I would agree with you that digital media is anti-consumer because we are at the mercy of the subscription service, whether it's licensing issues or the fact that they just don't want to have this content on their platform anymore, that we could watch a movie one day and wake up the next day and that movie's not there anymore.
Yeah.
We had the same conversation during the Hunger Games review where I was able to watch the whole Hunger Games, the first 4 movies on Hulu. You tried to go catch up. You gotta pay or rent to watch the movie because it's no longer on
Yeah.
Hulu.
And that's my thing, because it's like another thing is that we're losing the option to own it. Because
Yep.
like there was one game, I think it just got announced either from Xbox or Sony, and the developer said this is the first game we're not dropping any physical formats for, no disc. So that means if that developer gets sued, legal troubles, whatever, and Microsoft and Sony say we're pulling it off our online stores, you didn't even have the option to own that game. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you download it, you run the risk of, oh, okay, I downloaded it to my console plugged into the internet. If they send out a code that says we're retrieving all of this, it's retrieved, it's going.
Yeah.
So consumers are going to have to jump through hoops and ladders to find ways to even store their digital content. Like
Well,
we're going to have to get back to putting everything on jump drives and hard drives every day.
yeah. Now the Ubisoft executive, his point on it, and I think he just said it in a way that triggered a lot of video game owners because he was describing the difference between how we see DVD, like movie media, versus how we see video game media, and there's a difference. I think I agree with him. Like, we have a different attitude of owning movies than we do owning video games. Like, you said this on a previous podcast, you like buying the disc because when you complete the game it looks like a trophy.
Exactly.
But do you have that same opinion when you're watching a movie on Hulu and then the next day comes around and you can't watch it on Hulu anymore?
Not necessarily, but I will say this. My mom used to own a DVD collection, and I did used to be able to like looking up there, see this old school Spider-Man movies lined up, and knowing that if I want to do a random movie night,
You
because back
could.
then streaming wasn't big. If I wanted to pull it off the shelf, put in my DVD VCR player. Some of y'all Gen Zs and younger may not know what a VCR player is. That had the DVD player next to it, connected, old school.
That
You plug
DVD
it in.
VCR combo.
Yeah, it had the white and red, yellow prongs in the front, of a high definition red, blue, and green ones in the back. Yeah, they were fire. But no, I used to like that I could just do movie night. Video games, I like that too. But video game fans, we've complained. They got it now where some games you can't play unless you connect it online. Y'all got mad at
That's
Xbox for that 10 years ago.
But that's all I'm saying though, is that me personally, because my dad had a DVD collection too, he had a VCR collection as well. But when we got into streaming, I didn't have as much of an attitude where I couldn't watch something on Netflix anymore, as
Mm.
if I had to buy it. As opposed, if somebody told me that you can't buy any of your video games off the shelf anymore, you have to buy it digitally. I think as a society we have a different attitude.
See, my whole thing is, and now my cat's featured in the episode. My whole thing is, I like still having a choice. Because the thing about DVDs, this is another thing. I ain't heard, sorry for the bad English, I ain't heard MGM Studios or any of them say, we're going to stop producing Blu-ray DVDs. It seems like gaming is on going that route. I've never heard of putting a DVD in my
But
Xbox or
I
PlayStation. They saying you got to be connected online to watch it. Video games are going that route.
but I would say this though. Um I think Max tried it, and I feel like we're going that way anyway, is that when we wait for movies, like we wait for the movies to come out in theaters, I'm seeing less announcements of movies being available on Blu-ray and more announcements of this movie is going to be available on digital on this day. Like this is our new coming soon to DVD and VHS. Oh, it's dropping on digital. And then you have to wait for that additional announcement for, oh, now it's on the streaming service. Now it's on Disney Plus. Now it's on Max. Now it's on HBO.
But the one thing I'll say is that industry, one thing you will always have, you will still be able to rent and watch it on Amazon. Because almost every single movie that is on Max or Hulu, even if they are like contract expires and you can't watch anymore, because say Harry Potter, like when Harry Potter used to move from Max to from Cinemax to HBO and all that when they were separated all the time, on Amazon for a majority of movies, it still offers you the opportunity rent this movie for $8.99.
But then let's get into the licensing, because you are exactly correct. If I went on my Fire Stick right now, because I've bought movies on Amazon because I always want to have access to this movie. But
Exactly.
if Amazon loses the licensing for that movie, we run into the same issue that we did with Sony. The issue that happened with Sony and Discovery is because they did not want to renew the licensing with Warner Brothers for that content.
And I want to know, is that going to happen to movies with like video games? Is that happening? Like I just haven't, maybe I'm just not in those circles on my social media, but is that happening? Like with in the Amazon route? Because HBO and all of them, because it's only streaming, I get it. But like, has anybody said like, oh, when I buy a movie from Amazon, Amazon has snatched it away because of like legal stuff?
I haven't heard anything yet.
Because that, I'm just saying that shouldn't be the option. You know what I mean?
I could also see it as is that Amazon's catalog, unless you're out there buying stuff from Amazon, their catalog is not as big as like Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus, for example. So maybe they have the leeway to like make those negotiations instead of Netflix, which is trying to have Warner Brothers stuff on here, Disney stuff on here from time to time, and all of these along with their original stuff, as well as these other streaming services that sometimes if we want to go the business route, sometimes you have to look at the costs.
See,
but this is my other thing about Amazon. Out of all of if we just want to look at Amazon Prime, out of all of the businesses that Amazon has, Amazon Prime is like at the bottom of like stuff that I feel like Amazon cares about as far as their
Prime
business.
Video,
right? So like, but Netflix, and we talked about this last year with them doing like the password crackdown, the subscription increases, like that is their income to trying to keep these shows on the network. And if the people that they are that are giving them this content are raising their prices and they can't pay for it no more, then it's gone.
But here is the key difference. When you make that purchase with Netflix, Hulu, and HBO Max, you are paying for a subscription. You're paying to rent, you're paying to lease. When I get on Sony online store, Microsoft online store, Nintendo online store, I'm buying those games to own. Mm-hmm. Amazon gives you the choice to buy or own.
If because this is what the Ubisoft guy was saying, if they switch the video game market into a subscription service like thing, then it turns into the same thing of Netflix and HBO Max and Hulu.
But that's my thing. If I know that and it's there, I'm talking about the times where you like, because the real issue is with that Sony scenario, people purchase that game to own. It was taken away. If I know that I'm purchasing Game Pass to rent these games, and then some games come in and out, I was told that as a consumer, I made an obvious choice. Okay. But the second thing I'll be mad about is if I lose my choices. If Ubisoft says we're going into where everything is on a subscription, we've had those arguments years ago with at E3 and everything else. We already said we hate it, but okay, at least I know that I'm paying for a subscription. Don't confuse me and have me thinking I'm paying to own. and then you snatch the game out my game library. And that's the issue of digital content, because it seems like that's always an option, and it's not being and consumers aren't being told that. Because nobody had to tell me that, oh, even though you bought this manga, someone might take it away, because that's just not how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But now you run the risk of, like, if I buy something online, buying it to own. That's what y'all told me. I'm purchasing it to own. It's not a rent. It's not a subscription fee. Y'all can still take it? When did that happen? Where's that in the terms of use? That's trash.
Yeah.
And when you eliminate physical media, and then you also say we're all switching to subscriptions, it's like, okay, now we're just going to remove your opportunity to buy. That sucks, but that's a different argument. I'm talking about when we do have the opportunity to buy and y'all treating it like we're renting it.
I want to say, what if that's just the move that you're trying to make anyway?
Then that goes to the other argument. I'm still upset about it. I'm still upset about it because I miss my physical media.
Because the Ubisoft executive's comment was specifically towards subscription services for video games.
Mm-hmm.
That we have to shift the mindset of every game that we buy, we're buying it to own, to having the mindset of what we have for like Netflix and Hulu, is that we are accepting the risk that the content that we consume today is not the content we'll be able to consume tomorrow.
Well, if you do that, the prices need to reflect it. Game Pass, yeah. I don't own anything that I can play through Game Pass, but Game Pass is like $10 a month. So now, if Ubisoft comes out here and they're saying, "Here go Assassin's Creed Red, $70, but we can take it from you whenever we feel like it," or you still got to, after you pay for it,
I would agree with
you got
that. The business model has to change. If you want gamers to shift their mindset to have the same mindset that we have with these entertainment streaming services, you have to change the business model.
Because here's the thing, and this is why I appreciate a company like Microsoft being the lead for Xbox. Xbox was trying to do this way back with the Xbox One. When they unlocked that DRM stuff, and folks was like, "What you mean my console got to be always online?" I remember when that happened when I was in high school. Then we get into college and post-college years, so like 8 years later. Now almost half these games coming out. Oh, you cannot play this game unless you're connected to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
It is a single-player game. What are you talking about? I got to be connected to the internet to play this game. I bought it. I purchased a single-player game, and it becomes misleading. Yeah. They need to be upfront with their consumers, and the subscription models need to reflect it. Game Pass is not a full video game. It does not cost a full video game every month to be on Game Pass, and that's okay because I'm not paying for a full video game. I'm paying to access them temporarily as long as it's available.
I agree. I think if they do make this move, then it needs to be laid out to the consumers of like what they can do, what they can't do. And, if the content is meant to be temporary, all parties need to understand that this content is meant to be temporary.
Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm just an old dude too. Maybe I'm looking at this the same way that 30-year-olds from when we was like teenagers looked at VCR and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe it's just a part of the times, but I don't like the idea of losing the ability to own.
Yeah.
Because when you lose the ability to own anything, you're at the mercy of the people who create it.
Exactly. I think they're just making it harder. I don't think it's phasing out, yes, but I guess I would say let's not panic and be like physical media is going to go away tomorrow, but I think they're going to make it very hard to get the physical media as well.
Yeah.
We don't got video renting stores no more. So after video rentals went out the way, then it was go to Best Buy, go to Walmart, go to Target. Now they haven't said anything about Walmart or Target losing their physical media collections, but Best Buy was like the biggest one when it came to movies, music, and video games alone. It was the one-stop shop. So
yeah, and Honestly, it's just a lot because now it's going to get to the point where, like, if everything just switches to digital and the prices don't adjust, like, we got to take into consideration when you buy six, because now games are $69.99. Remember they were $59.99,
Remember
and
when they
before
was
that
$30?
$49.99. Yeah, I remember all of that, right? But what's going to happen is, like, it happens till this day. I buy a game on the Xbox store like Baldur's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
It's still charging me $69.99, $72 with tax and all that. And I had to ask myself,
No
I thought the
case, no
original
this.
I thought I thought the original price of video games included the cost of getting a disc, a console, and an instruction manual. I thought that was included.
Man, they even put they do put instruction man. I would say,
It's just
I,
slips at this point. Most
that's
of
what
them
I
don't
was.
even have an
That's what I was about to say. If we want to talk about the little booklets that come with the games, they not really even worth looking at no more.
true.
I think I
But
have opened the game that didn't even have the booklet. It was just a disc.
I think it's a few of them now. I think half the time now, if they do have some paper in there, it's because it was a pre-order code or like deluxe edition codes, like
Or
Spider-Man and stuff.
yeah, or like if you want to get the unlock the suits or
Mm-hmm.
get like this DLC mission or something, put this code in. Yep, you're correct.
And that's and here's the thing. I just don't want another layer of consumers to fall for the hype because you know what the games are going to do. It's like what Apple did when they got rid of their chargers. We're doing it for the ecosystem because we don't want to put trash out there. Does it benefit the ecosystem? Yes, but are y'all doing it for that? No, y'all doing it to save money and make as much profit as y'all can off of us. That's the real truth.
Yeah.
That's the real truth. Does it benefit? Yes. No littering. Cool. Nobody's mad at that. But don't lie.
I think because I want to move on to the next thing, but I think I agree with you for the end of this discussion. Wherever the digital media market goes, I think everybody needs to be clear and everybody needs to understand how permanent or non-permanent this digital media is
Mm-hmm.
on our consoles, on our TVs, on our phones, etc. Because I think with
Yeah.
streaming services, like, yeah, we get pissed that we can't watch something on Hulu anymore. But I think we've just gone accustomed to the fact that, hop to the next streaming service. Oh, it's on here. Okay. But I think the attitude is real different when it comes to video games. It's real
Yeah.
different. But moving on to the next thing, just a few announcements. So we all saw that Mickey Mouse entered the public domain in 2024. Just for a clarification on which Mickey Mouse this is the first iteration of Mickey Mouse. So the Steamboat Willie, the
The
one that
one that walk
the
like this.
the one that really looks like a rat. So it is only the more mischievous rat-like non-speaking boat captain in Steamboat Willie that has become public. So the Mickey Mouse ears, the modernized Mickey, whoever, we already seen the trailers for the horror games, the horror movies. Y'all cannot touch that Mickey Mouse. You can only touch the Mickey Mouse that can't talk.
I feel like it's unfair for me to give my opinion on this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Controversy. I see artists who are like, "Oh my gosh, we need public domain because it elevates creativity and innovation." For example, look at King Arthur's Sword in the Stone and blah 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 blah. But I'm also like, well, these folks created it. And then the argument is, no, they didn't create it. Walt Disney and all of them created it. These are just the folks who own the company. And I'm like, okay, if it's in public domain, are y'all going to do anything good with it though?
I
I'm
think
still waiting on a solid King Arthur.
I I think and I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this with Mickey Mouse, and then when the announcements came out that for in 30, 35 through 36 or whatever, the first iterations of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, I think it was just those three. In the Joker,
3035 or 2035?
2035. My bad.
Okay.
We not even gonna be around for no
We gonna be
3035. My
even
bad.
talking about that. We gonna be
My
dead.
bad. It was 2035 to 2036. The original iterations of Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and the Joker were going to enter the public domain. And I think the first thing because we saw it with Mickey Mouse. I hate. I won't say I hate. I find it very interesting that our first notions to do with these characters is to pervert it. Mickey Mouse came into the public domain and y'all made a horror movie and two horror games. And I'm not saying it's wrong, because now you have the ability to play with these what if scenarios. Like, what if Mickey Mouse was darker than you think? Like, you can
Mm-hmm.
play around with those ideas. But I just find it very interesting that when we do get stuff in the public domain, because the same thing happened with Winnie the Pooh. Like, when we get these characters in the public domain, the first idea is to pervert it. And I was like, I can only imagine what's gonna happen with Superman and Batman getting into the public domain, because I know everybody wants a good evil Superman story. I already know.
And the funny thing is, when I was looking at the details, it's like Superman and Batman and all that, but then like the logos and everything else,
It's
they're
still trademarked.
trademarked. So, and trademarks rights are treated differently than copyrights.
But it might be because it was the same thing with Mickey Mouse. It could be the modernized stuff, because they still have the Mickey Mouse ears and trademark. So it's kind of like, yes, the first iteration is out, because the first Superman logo looks very, very different from the Superman logo that you see today.
Mm-hmm. And now the artists are going to have to use it differently, because now they're going to have to argue. They're going to have to make sure that they don't get sued when they do it properly. But
Exactly.
going to
But
what you was talking about,
oh, go ahead.
just addressing what you was talking about, we've had this conversation. Writing, in our opinions, has deteriorated when it comes to the quality of writing in films and movies in the past few years. It could be the overabundance of content that makes us feel like, oh, maybe it's not that writing has gotten bad. We're just seeing more of the average stuff. But that's what's going to happen to these IPs. There's no guarantee that just because they're in public domain that the best writer in the world and the most creative director is going to gain access to it. We're probably going to see a lot of basic average stuff for popular IPs. Just look at Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
I think I would be interested to see what else comes out of Mickey Mouse being into the public domain. I know the horror stuff is like the quick grabs. Like, we're gonna go through the horror stuff for a minute. We already saw the trailer, the announcement for the movie and the two games, and it's like, okay, cool. We know Disney wasn't gonna put out no horror stuff for Mickey Mouse, so let's go ahead. When it gets in public domain, let's ship it. But I would like to see what else comes out of Mickey Mouse being in the public domain, other than let's make horror movies and horror games. I'm not saying that it's the wrong move. I'm just saying, when this stuff gets in the, because let's just talk about Winnie the Pooh. Other than that Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie, what has anybody else done with Winnie the Pooh being in public domain?
And here's my thing. Here is my argument. I wish people would just be creative and make new stuff. Because at the end of the day, what are you going to do? Winnie the Pooh in space? Winnie the Pooh in Dungeons and Dragons fighting a dragon? Winnie the Pooh underwater? Winnie the Pooh versus the Loch Ness monster? It's still Winnie the Pooh, and there are still people alive who look at that and relate it to how they saw Winnie the Pooh of Eeyore and Tigger in the old cartoons. Mm-hmm. That's still how they view it. Same for Mickey Mouse. We see Toodles and Goofy and everybody else. So it's like, oh, we're gonna do a Mickey Mouse horror movie, bro. We're just gonna look at that like, WTF? What you talking about?
I agree. I would like to see if it gets in the public, now that it's in the public domain. I know we like to do the scary image, like, pervert it and make it scary. But what other images could come out of Mickey Mouse being in the public domain that Disney won't do because they are trying to be family friendly or whatever? Like, if they did a Mickey Mouse style regular show, like, we know Disney not gonna make no regular show, but if they did like a Mickey Mouse regular show where they just cutting the fuck up and it's all in some of, like, I won't say mature things, but like borderline, this could be on Adult Swim, I think that would be something funny to watch, like, to change the image.
It could be funny, but then somebody like me is like, why didn't y'all just get creative like regular show and use a different animal? Like, did it really take Mickey Mouse for you to make a creative, adult-oriented cartoon? Like, because if regular show could do it, if all these other new IPs, Adventure Time and everybody could create something new and
But
fresh,
I'm
why
just
couldn't y'all?
that's true. And it could be, and it could just be the reason of like the curiosity. We're familiar with Mickey Mouse. How are you gonna write Mickey Mouse in this setting? Like you have some boost of curiosity from the audience just because you got Mickey Mouse on it. Whether than if you were to just make a show with random animals, then we'd be like, you would have, okay, the trailer's kind of funny. This kind of reminds me of regular show. I might check it out instead of you seeing it and be like, Mickey Mouse, what they talking about on here?
See, and that's my thing, because then it just goes into marketing. Are people going to watch a brand that they have no affinity for and they don't know anything about versus one they do? And the issue is that sometimes it can be good. Dungeons and Dragons, the movie. Dungeons and Dragons, Critical Role, Vox Machina. We all know about this stuff. It makes us watch it. I get it. But then at the same time, you still got to be creative. That's what matters more. Marketing does matter, but if you make something of quality, that matters more because now word of mouth is bigger than ever. We got social media.
Mm-hmm.
I like, if you're clinging to the fact, oh, we got the mouse in this movie gonna be fire, versus we got character
Well, I'm
development,
not saying I'm
we
not.
got creative
What I
ideas.
was saying was that not that Mickey Mouse is on the front and the rest of it is trash. It's just that this might be an actually good show, but putting Mickey Mouse on the front is giving it that push for people to watch it. I
I'm just going. I would just doubt that majority of the time.
I see what you're saying, like, oh, Mickey Mouse is in our cartoon, but it turns out to be garbage. And then it was like, okay, the only thing you guys had going for the show was the fact that Mickey Mouse was in it. But I was talking about if they were to come up with something that was entertaining and just the selling point of it was that Mickey Mouse is in it. That's what I would like to see.
See, I would agree on the. I would like to see that. I just doubt that that would ever even be a substantial. How would I say that? I doubt that would never be the majority, and I highly doubt that it would even be a substantial portion of the content that we would eventually get. Because, in my opinion, when I see creative people, whether it's in the music industry, cinema industry, creative people are just going to be creative. They're going to create something good. It's going to be good. They don't necessarily have to latch on to a previously made identity. And the people who do latch on to these previously established IPs more than likely make something trash, i.e. Rings of Power,
I
i.e. Velma.
I see. But like I said, like I don't disagree with you. That's why I was saying, like, I'm not surprised that all this horror stuff has came out with. Like, it was the same thing with Winnie the
Yeah.
Pooh. But my thing is that I would like to see if what else are you guys going to do with Mickey Mouse being in the public domain than make horror based content?
How do you feel about those conspiracies that were going around on Twitter where they was like, this is just Disney trying to make reasons to discourage people from using Mickey Mouse?
I feel like I don't. I see the reasoning. I see the reasoning. But given the fact that Winnie the Pooh movie is about to get a second installment, I don't think it's working. That Winnie the Pooh movie is about to get a second installment, and I just don't think it's working. But I think I think they're choosing the wrong genre. If the conspiracy is true, I think they're choosing the wrong genre to dissuade people. Because we love to see something dark and twisted, Mickey Mouse gone bad. Like it might look like something we don't want to watch. But like the Winnie the Pooh stuff was interesting because it was like, why would y'all do this to Winnie the Pooh and Piglet?
Plus, horror movies can be cheaply made. Like,
Right.
it's easy to make a cheap
They
horror
don't
movie.
they don't have to spend a lot of money to make that. I think they're choosing the wrong if the conspiracy is true, I think they're choosing the wrong genre to try to make that point with. Because I think everybody
Mm-hmm.
loves to see something dark and twisted. We love to see something good and just and tear it up. And that's what they've been doing.
Yeah. I feel like horror is just easier to get into because it's like, how many years away are we really going to be from like a traditional like Winnie the Pooh in a magical forest, and you got Eeyore and Tigger, and they're giving like quality animation on the level of say live action Lion King. Not saying they go the live action Lion King route, but they get into like that multi-million-dollar investment. Like, when are we ever going to see that? You know what I mean? Like, horror is just an easy route to go because you can get an iPhone, turn on grayscale filter, and make something that looks scary and look gritty or whatever.
Yeah, and that's just going back to my point is, I think they chose the wrong genre because I think everybody is interested in seeing like something get twisted, and I just think that after a while that it's like nobody's. I haven't seen anybody do anything else with the Winnie the Pooh IP since it's been in the public domain.
Yeah.
But we're running a little bit over time, so I just want to put out a few announcements to make our audience aware of. And of course, we will be keeping up with these topics as the year goes by, so be sure to tune in to upcoming episodes. So the Switch 2, Nintendo did officially announce that the Switch 2 is coming this year, 2024. However, there is a rumor based on a company called AI Shark, which used to be known as Game Shark, that they are planning that the Switch 2 might be coming around September 2024. Nintendo has not confirmed this, but of course, we will be keeping up with the headlines and letting you guys know when you can officially expect the Nintendo Switch 2. Other news that came out is that
quick question to interrupt. Do you know when most Nintendo Directs are held?
I think I was talking about this with my coworker too. I think there should be one coming in March because that was because if I remember correctly, that's when they announced Strikers. I think they usually have one in March. I know they have one in the summer.
September, I think.
They usually have one in the summer, and then they double back like September and do one.
So if the Switch 2 was to drop, I doubt they will wait later than a March Nintendo Direct to say it, because then you ain't giving time for marketing.
Right. So stay tuned. I think the earliest we will hear something is March. This is also the 25th anniversary for the Super Smash Brothers franchise, so they might be doing something big for that as well.
A good Super Smash Brothers game, yes, that would make me buy it.
So stay tuned. I feel like the other two topics we got is gonna go into a discussion. So I'm gonna leave those off because I already see where this gonna go. I'm gonna say it and you're gonna ask me a question and we're gonna have a 10-minute discussion. So I'm gonna just stop it right.
She says she don't want to edit this. She says she don't want to edit too long of a video.
We already went over what we were supposed to go over.
Because every time we don't get that many topics, and we be like, "Oh, it's going to be a short episode." These two topics be the biggest things ever.
Yeah. We looked at this and we was like, "Yeah, this is good. We got it." And then we got here, and it was like, and I'm looking at the time, and I was like, "Oh, we don't got it. We don't got it."
But didn't I tell you that one topic about the consumer stuff? I was like, that one could get long, Phoop. She was like, nah, I think we might talk for like 5 minutes.
No, I said the Smash Bros. I agree with you with the digital media one. I said I don't think the Smash Brothers one would have took that long, but that actually took longer than I thought it was.
Way longer than expected.
I didn't think the Smash Bros one was gonna take that long, but we're gonna go ahead and shut this down. So once again, Ryan, I want to thank you for joining me on another episode of the Blerd Mob podcast. Two, I want to thank everybody who's been watching and listening to us this far, whether this is your first time or 50th time watching us or listening. It is always appreciated. Third, make sure you check us out on social media. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. I believe I said I think I said Twitter or X. Can't remember. But just search the Blerd Mob podcast and we will pop up. Also,
we'll be there.
Check out the description of this video, or if you're listening to the audio version, and do 2 things for me. 1, support the mob. We have 2 ways that you can support us. 1, through our Entertainment Earth affiliate link, where you can buy some Funkos like me and Ryan have in the back. Or you can send us a straight donation using our Ko-fi link, which is also in the bio as well. So these donations go towards equipment, subscriptions, and everything that we are using to give you guys this lovely episode and lovely episodes in the past. The second thing I would like you guys to do, we have a community Discord server. So if you are interested in joining the Blerd Mob community, want to know ahead of time of what we have planned for the week, want to know when we're going live with game streaming as well as other live stream episodes, or want to be the first to know when we drop an episode, make sure you join that Discord server. We'll definitely be planning some community events and some other Discord exclusives in the future. So make sure you join so you can get those updates. And with all that being said, this is the mob checking out. Peace. Yuji as himself is not a threat, but you pump this man up with all these fingers and he turns into Sukuna, and then what? And Shibuya really laid out the damage.
The then what?
The damage